Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I really wanted to talk about a lot of new information that we got in an EW article. I'll be posting my Q&A video most likely tomorrow. I was going to be doing like that video and then another one today, but then this dropped today and there's a lot of stuff to talk about in here. So what I'm going to be doing is doing that Q&A video tomorrow along with the early reviews and all of that. And yeah, at least hopefully, maybe I'll release it later on tonight. I'm not entirely sure yet. I know tomorrow a lot of the talk is going to be about the early reviews. So I don't know if I want to necessarily put the Q&A video out during a lot of that, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Now, what I do want to talk about is this Entertainment Weekly article here. So again, I will leave a link down below to this article. Definitely go and check out this article. It's a very, very long read, and it actually goes into really, really crazy detail about the show. So first of all, there is a little bit of spoilers in here. So there are some spoilers in here. It seems like for episode 4. I'm guessing this is episode 4. I don't think this is, you know what? Actually, now that I'm looking at this, it seems like it probably is for episode 5 because it does say it's a bright May morning in Springfield, New Jersey on the set of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. And yeah, this is the beginning of the Entertainment Weekly article. So first of all, again, I'll leave a link down below. Definitely go and check this out. Really incredible article here. But I believe this is probably for episode 5 because I think they finished filming at the very end of May from what I remember. I could be wrong. Maybe it was end of May, early June. But it does take like 2 to 3 weeks. I'd say roughly 3 weeks to do an episode. Sometimes maybe more. So I think that probably does line up. They're probably near the end of filming episode 5. Andrew Lincoln does say that he's been doing a lot of crying in the first few episodes, and so now in this one here they're going to be getting to like blow stuff up and all of that and do car chases and stuff. So that's what I wanted from this. You know, I wanted the first couple of episodes to be more emotional, still show a lot of like really crazy and just cool stuff, but like, you know, towards the end get into a lot of that, but you know, really first just get into the whole Rick and Michonne story, really do that properly, and then do everything else, right? But what they do get into here is the fact that the director, Michael E. Satrazemis, who obviously, you know, did a lot of Walking Dead episodes and all of that, and I believe is not doing episode 4. I think it was someone else who was doing episode 4. I don't remember who. So I think that probably confirms to us that this is episode 5. So we're going to get this big, like, Rick versus, or not Rick versus Michonne versus Jadis. It's Rick and Michonne versus Jadis. But basically this article here, like there's a lot, you know, it goes into a lot of dialogue and stuff with the actors, and it just kind of, you know, they explain what it's like just filming this scene, how fun it's going to be and all of that. And it's really cool, like the fact that they actually are filming this whole scene. And it seems like the scene is going to be, again, really like, I don't know if it's going to be Jadis's final episode. I feel like probably not. I think she should survive, but it depends because I think, you know, for Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera, like they really want to, like, for this story, they want to take risks. Like they want to do things that are going to be very massive, and like they don't want to just do things safely, you know what I mean? And have it where, you know, fans won't be so upset about this or that kind of thing. Like they just want a new and interesting story. They want to take The Walking Dead to places that it's really never been. And I feel like, you know, Jadis dying in episode 5, fans would be shocked by that, because for me, I'm honestly like, I kind of expect a lot of these characters to just survive for at least the next couple of seasons. If the show's going for like 2 or 3 seasons, a character like Jadis, I expect to survive for at least 2 seasons or something, right? But obviously, if you do kill her off there, it would be very shocking, especially considering all the connections to, you know, The Walking Dead and stuff. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, there's nothing in this article that hints at like Jadis's death at all. I'm just thinking more because there's like this big showdown. This is like the second to last episode, you know, and usually those episodes are sometimes the bigger episode, right? So what I really liked that this article does get into, though, is the fact that, you know, at first it seemed like, you know, the story was going to be a trilogy of movies. And I do think if that was the plan, the first movie most likely would have been a story just entirely about Rick. And I think Michonne could have appeared at the very end. And then I think the second movie, it would have focused a lot more on Michonne and Rick. And then I think that third one would have been everyone reuniting. I think it really would have been a story like that. But obviously the world shut down for a bit, and so it was like everything kind of got paused, and it seemed like movies weren't really doing that well. So I think that was the real motivation here to do a TV show, which thankfully, you know, it did turn into a TV show, because that is something that I do prefer overall. I do want to see a Walking Dead movie. I really do. But for this story, I just feel like, you know, a 3-season TV show or however long they want to go for, or whatever it's going to be, I think is perfect. You know, doing movies, it would be cool, but I just feel like you can't get the proper amount of emotion in scenes, and the pacing is much different. And like, again, I just think that you would have to rush certain things, and I really like living with the characters. That's such an important, element to The Walking Dead. And so I like the fact that, they kind of touch on that a little bit and what that process was like. And, when Denai Guerrera got involved in the story, just how things shifted a lot. And I do think the importance of Rick and Michonne's story here is really, all Denai Guerrera. Like, I do think that, I'm not saying Andrew Lincoln and Scott Gimple didn't have any say there, but I think she really wanted to, like, make this story a lot about Rick and Michonne, like really focus on those two characters here, not focus so much on like what the world is like and all that. And I think that it's such an important thing, because I've said that for a very long time. I felt like The Walking Dead season 7 and 8, the issues with those seasons was that it was a lot of like, there wasn't emotion there. Like there was, but it was about a lot of these bigger things, which yes, you can have that, but there needs to be some of that smaller stuff that you kind of make more of a big deal, right? Like you go back to season 1 and 2 and all that drama between Rick and Shane. There were bigger issues there. The fact that they didn't really have a place to go. They were at that farm. They were dealing with all of that. But it was the stuff happening between Rick and Shane that just made everything way more intense. And so I felt like a lot of that lacked in season 7 and 8. There wasn't a lot of that. I think in season 9, some of that came back, especially in Rick's final episodes there. There was a lot of drama between all of our characters. And yeah, but there wasn't a lot of just stuff with Rick, and that's why I'm really excited for this. It does seem like that's going to be a big focus here. Like there's going to be this bigger story going on, but there's also going to be this other part to it that, for us fans, we're going to love, right? We're going to love seeing Rick and Michonne and them reuniting and all of that stuff just because of what it means for, those characters just being back together and stuff. But it's such a small part in this whole story, and I think that's what just makes everything about this show really exciting, because it just adds that element of, I guess, emotion there. And so things just get way more intense when, I don't know, certain things are happening, like this fight right here with Jadis. And so yeah, I just can't wait to see how this scene's going to turn out. But I also want to get into this here, and there's this excerpt here that I want to read from Entertainment Weekly, and it starts with, while The Ones Who Live is populated with new characters like Thorn and Nat, one can't help but wonder if some blast from the past, besides Jadis, might also make an appearance. Considering how focused World Beyond was on the CRM, it would feel only natural for some of those characters, or say, Fear the Walking Dead CRM helicopter pilot Isabel, to show up here. I think that's probably the expected thing, says Gimple, and I think it's more unexpected than that, who we may or may not see. And then it goes into this part here, and it says, that does not mean the show will completely avoid the past. Entertainment Weekly, or EW, can reveal that some hidden history will indeed be revealed in The Ones Who Live, and that revelation will include the return of at least one familiar face. And then it goes into, could it be Lenny James as Morgan, or Seth Gilliam's Father Gabriel Stokes, who obviously has a connection with Jadis. And so there is a possibility of that. I guess they could do something there. But so basically this confirms to me that it seems like there is going to be a returning character. Gimple basically confirmed that there is going to be a returning character here. And so I am wondering, who, based off of that one part there that says that it will reveal some hidden history. I feel like it could just be like Dr. Jenner. It could be something, there. There could be something with, what happens in Atlanta. Maybe we see Shane or something like that, just for a split second. I'm trying to think of who just makes sense. I know when I posted this on X or Twitter or whatever, a lot of people were saying that it could be Heath or Morgan. That was the two common characters. But for me, like Heath, I think would make sense. It would be kind of cool just to kind of wrap up that story, because he went missing, and like a lot of people are probably not really thinking about where he is, but to have him come back for like a small part, that would be really amazing. It just depends, because I know the actor, he left The Walking Dead, I think, because he didn't want to do it anymore. At least it seemed like it, because he went on to another show and all that. So I'm assuming so. I don't know, but that would be cool if they actually went back to Heath. But I would really like to see Morgan in some way. But again, if they're revealing some hidden history, does that make a lot of sense for Morgan to show up? Was Morgan involved in something in the past that was like this crazy thing, that would be a big reveal? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And so that's why I don't even know if it makes sense to be Heath, unless you're doing a backstory to something that happened before, to when Heath was taken and what happened, I guess just what happened and what Jadis did, right? Like maybe you're getting into some of that, and maybe that's, important for the story overall here. It's so hard to say. That's why I'm trying to think, like, which scenes make sense. And I think that it mostly makes sense to see a character like Dr. Jenner, just because of the position that he was in with the CDC and, you know, just some of that stuff happening there. I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's my prediction as of now, is that it's most likely going to be Dr. Jenner. Besides him, you know, I think that it would be kind of cool to see characters like, I guess Gabriel makes some sense, right? Like seeing Gabriel come back for a scene, maybe with Jadis. That would be kind of cool. That would have to be more of a scene, though, I think, that would just like connect with Jadis's final scene on the show or something, right? I feel like that makes a lot more sense, but I don't know. It really depends. Like, this could really go kind of anywhere. There could really be any character that could return. Because again, I'm focusing on The Walking Dead, which I guess does make a lot of sense, but there could also be characters from World Beyond. There could be characters from Fear the Walking Dead as well, right? Like there's Isabel, there's Silas, there's a lot of characters on World Beyond as well. So there could really be a lot of characters. I do think it's going to be someone that is unexpected. So maybe it's Dr. Jenner, though maybe that is the more expected guess. So I don't know, like it depends, because I'm trying to think of who makes sense to return. And the characters that do make sense to return, I guess, are really those 4 characters. It's, well, actually, it is technically more, but from characters that appear on The Walking Dead, you know, there's Dr. Jenner, Heath, Morgan, and Gabriel. Gabriel only because of his connection with Jadis. So I don't know. It really depends. I really... In terms of this returning character, it's probably going to be something that is revealed in like, what, episode 5 or something like that? A very small scene. You know, it's probably going to be very similar to Simon's return, to Carol's return, even though she is on the show now. But if you look at season 1 of both shows, you know, both shows had a returning character there, right? Like you saw Simon for a second, and then in Daryl Dixon, you know, we heard Carol's voice and then she appeared at the end. So they're probably going to do something here with this show. And I'm just trying to think of who would it make sense to be? And Morgan makes a lot of sense, but I feel like that's more of a post-credit scene cliffhanger type of thing, right? I don't know how it makes sense otherwise for the character to be a part of something where they're revealing hidden history of something, right? That's why I think it makes more sense for it to be, you know, a character like either Heath, you know, because he could be shown, you know, just in a flashback to like what happened to him. Maybe there's something there with Jadis, a bigger story there with the CRM. Gabriel, because maybe there's a connection there with Jadis and maybe it's her final episode kind of thing. So you're doing a flashback scene sort of thing. And Dr. Jenner, because, you know, obviously some of the bigger world stuff that's going on. So we'll have to wait and see, but there's a lot to talk about here, and this video does seem to be getting very long, so I'll end it here. I'll do another video talking about some other stuff regarding a season 2, and Gimple talked about this a lot more, so I want to get into some of that there, and I also want to talk about a few other things that were actually in this article here. So yeah, we'll get into that in the other video. So obviously, if you want more Walking Dead content like this, then definitely make sure to be a subscriber. Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.